Hello everybody. Today I'm going to look at the X47 Wochenkalender Classic Plus, the week on 2 pages Classic Plus from X47. As you may remember, this year I've been using the X47 A5 Career, which is the slightly larger landscape version of the X47 A5, and I've been using their week calendar classic, which is the only layout available for this organizer. As is often the case when you choose a book by book system, you're tied to the inserts offered by that producer. Not always, but in the case of X47, you have no choice. You have to take their offerings. In the case of the A5 Plus Landscape, which is a niche product for X47, the number of diary options is available limited to just one. So I had to make a number of compromises when I was working with this. I reviewed both the organizer and the insert last year, so I'll put links to those reviews in the description underneath. Having used the diary for a year, I won't repeat what I mentioned last year in the review, but there are some extra issues I hadn't considered in my original review, which I'd just like to mention now. The first thing is, whereas the days here are written in 6 languages, for German and English and 2 others on the first page, and then German and English and 2 others on the next page, so alternate pages, 6 languages in total. The months are always shown simply as a number. I don't know about you, but I don't automatically have in my head a table that tells me that number 11 is November. And it just adds a little bit of jeopardy when I'm making appointments. So if somebody says that I have an appointment that has to be in September, and it's April now, I'm having to do, let me think, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, number 9. So I have to go and find number 9. It's up to now, touch wood, I haven't made any mistakes, but I think it increases the chances of making errors as the names of the months are not there. So you have to stop and think to make sure that you're working in the right month. Also, I noticed that when a month covers when a week covers more than 1 month, like this, in this case, the change falls in the middle of the week and we have 10 on this side and 11 on there. That's no problem. But in some cases, like here, for example, you'll see that this is 09 September and this is the 1st of October, but it shows still September. So that's an error, in my opinion, that needs to be handled better. The second issue I had is that all of the printing on here is in a dark grey. It's not in black. That's because this paper is very good, but it's very thin. Compactness is the watchword for this company. They try and fit everything they can into the smallest possible space. So you can, if you look, and I'll see if I can make this, you can see, if you look here, you can see the numbers on the other page ghosting through or shadowing here. So if they make it any darker, that would be more obvious. That's no problem for me, but I noticed that because I write in black, when I write an appointment, let me find an appointment. When I find an appointment like this, I found that if I wrote, because I write in a very black ink, I wasn't associating the name, the appointment name, with the time. So, because the colors were different. And this is just me probably, but I found I had to rewrite always when I make an appointment. I always have to rewrite the time so that I link it in my mind with what's written next to it. You see here, in all cases, I've rewritten the time. Third issue, on the desk, this is a great format. great format to have things lying sideways so that you can get your keyboard on either side of it. That gives you a bit more space. But it's a little larger than A5. This is an A5 sheet. You can see here the insert is a little larger than A5. I don't know if you can see that because it's but you've got about 1 centimetre at this end extra and a couple of millimetres on either side here. And of course the whole folder is significantly larger than A5. But that means that, so when it's on a desk it's great, but if you're holding it, because it's floppy, and I'm holding this and I'm trying to make an appointment with you know, the doctor's surgery or something at the reception, I can't really easily do that. I need to put it down on the desk to be able to make an appointment. So it's not as useful if you're out and about because it's difficult to hold in the hand. I mean, my hands are very small. If you have very, very big hands, it might be possible. I couldn't do this. So that's the third thing. And finally, as I mentioned in my first review, this front pocket I think is very badly designed. It's pointless for me. It doesn't give me any advantage whatsoever, and it adds some weight. So I felt like I needed to get rid of this. So I decided to continue using this because, as you can see here, I use this a lot for other things than the diary. I use this to make notes about projects which I'm running on a day-to-day basis, so I can keep this information on my desk. So I'm going to keep using this, but not for a diary. The diary is going to have to move. So for 2024, I'm going to move to the X47 Steel A5. I also reviewed this, and I will make a link to that below. So I'm moving the diary across to the A5. This is true A5. The A5 Plus, as I said, is slightly larger. So I'm going to move, obviously I have to have different inserts, and these are the inserts I'm going to look at today. X47 is not a cheap company. The inserts are expensive. This calendar costs €44.90 plus €4.95 postage and packing. So give or take a few cents, this is €50 just for a couple of slim calendar pages, calendar booklets. So you have to have a bit of extra cash if you're going to use their system. This label, by the way, I added. This is not theirs. They just give you with an X47, which you can see there, X47 embossing here. The standard, it's done standard in black with a black cover. If you want a different colored cover, you can, but you have to add €5 to the cost then, because they have to print that or produce that separately. As the portrait, A5 portrait system by X47 is more popular, the number of diary layouts available is much greater. There are 10 available. So one available for the landscape version, 10 for the A5. So it gives me a little bit more chance to find a layout that is going to be a little bit more suitable for me and the way I work. It always comes in 2 versions, each one 6 months with a couple of days either side for the overlap. If you look at them from the top, you see they have a different color, black and red. This is not for your benefit. This is for their benefit in the warehouse, so they can make sure that they never send you 2 of the same months. They can always see that they've sent you first 6 months, second 6 months. Each booklet, so if we just look at each booklet has, just get through this one, has publication information, a yearly overview of days with this holiday days and this ridiculous idea they have that every Sunday is a free day, but I'll get back onto that. Then they have a different overview for the year. And then they have a list of holidays in selected countries. The selected countries being most European countries, or Western European countries, I should say, plus USA, plus Japan. If you have colleagues in other countries, like I have some colleagues in China, you have to find those holidays out and write them in yourself because they don't add them in to this layout. And then you go on to the actual week on 2 pages itself. This layout loses this large doodling area for notes, which I found so annoying in the previous incarnation. So in this incarnation, you have this all of this page, this stuff here, which is just, I found so wasteful because I couldn't use it. I don't know how they use it, but as I said in my original review, this is just badly, in my opinion, it's badly designed. They needed more space for the days themselves. This layout has that, not ideally, but it has more space. So we have columns for the days, and we start at 8 o'clock here and we finish at 8 o'clock in the evening. They have a little space at the bottom here, 4 lines. They have 2 lines at the top. I would have preferred them to shift this down so there's the same number of lines at the top and bottom. First of all, to give you space to add appointments that happen before 8 or after 8 in the evening. Secondly, to give you space to add non-timed appointments that are required. So if you had something to do here like put out rubbish, for example, you don't have to do it at a particular time, but it can be added here as a to-do, which has to happen on a particular day, but not at a particular time. This doesn't really give you the space to do it, especially as they take up 1 line with the indication of the holidays. So anyway, this is a better layout, in my opinion. So we have here the month. Again, it's a number, week number, year. Obviously, this is going to be 2024 when so week number 2024, January. We have the date. We have on 1 page the name of the day. So we have in German and English, and in this case in Spanish and Japanese. And on the page afterwards, it's in Italian and French. So 6 languages, you have the name of the days. They have holiday days shown in red. Annoyingly, in my point of view, they assume that nobody works on Saturdays and Sundays and that you have less to do, and that is simply not true for a lot of us. But it means that they halve the number of space and they don't put in the timings. And really, this really gets up my nose. Every single Sunday is shown in red because they assume that every single Sunday we do not work. That may be the case for them. It is not the case for a lot of us. And I don't know why they do this, but I find this just annoying. It just so many assumptions about their customers. But anyway, as you get to the end of the booklet, so that's the same for every week. And then when you get to the end of the booklet, you begin to get this grey stripe down the center, and this is there in order to tell you, hey, you're getting to the end of the book. You need to renew it. Don't forget. And then right at the end, we have an overview of 2025 with the holiday days, and of course red for Sundays because they never work on Sundays. Good for them. Okay, paper quality is good, as I said. Now it is thin. If you look here, for example, you can see the printing from the day before through the paper, but it doesn't bleed through if you use a fountain pen. So for example, here, let me find something. So here's something I wrote in a red ink, fountain pen ink. You can see through, but it doesn't bleed. If I find the black pen I use, Here's the black pen, and you can see it through, but it doesn't bleed through. So the paper is good quality, but it's very thin because it's a beautifully compact system. So that's the X47 Wochenkalender Classic Plus, Week Calendar Classic Plus. I will see how successful this one is, and I will no doubt report back about this next year before I decide whether to move to a different system next year or keep the same system. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you next time.